If you are struggling with stiff aching joints, your first instinct might be to reach for a bottle of painkillers from the pharmacy. But what if I told you that some of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories were not in your medicine cabinet, but were already sitting in your kitchen spice rack? Today, we are going to open the door to your kitchen pharmacy. Welcome back to Healthier Daily, the channel where we give you the simple science-backed truths to live a stronger and more independent life after 60. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Carter. And to guide us through the healing power of these common spices, we are joined by a physician who has spent his life studying the wisdom of traditional natural medicine. It is our great honor to welcome Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
Thank you for having me, Ben. This is a very important topic. For centuries, wise cultures around the world have used simple spices not just to add flavor to their food, but as a form of daily medicine. They use them to keep the body free from the internal fire of inflammation, which is the root cause of so much pain. And the wonderful thing is that modern science is now proving this ancient wisdom was correct.
And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. In this detailed guide, Dr. Hinohara is going to walk us through his 3-level spice protocol for joint health. It is a very intelligent way to think about using these spices for maximum benefit. We will cover what he calls Level 1, the systemic soother, a spice that helps to balance your entire body's response to inflammation. Then we'll discuss Level 2, the direct protector, a spice that acts like a bodyguard for your joints. And finally, we will explore Level 3, the master amplifier, a spice that makes all the other healthy foods you eat even more powerful. It is a true blessing to know that these simple, humble spices have been created with such profound healing abilities. If you are ready to find natural relief for your joint pain right from your own kitchen, please type the number 1 in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. It's completely free, and this guide is full of practical and delicious wisdom. Okay, doctor, let's get right into your 3-level spice protocol for joint health. You said the first level is the systemic soother, a spice that helps to balance the entire body's response to inflammation. What is this foundational spice?
Yes. Before we attack the inflammation in the joint directly, we must first create a calmer and more peaceful internal environment throughout the entire body. For this, our first spice is the warm and wonderful cinnamon. This spice is particularly helpful for the person with osteoarthritis, whose joint pain seems to get worse or flare up when their diet is not good. I had a patient, a man in his early 70s with moderate osteoarthritis in his knees. He told me something very interesting. He said, "Doctor, my knee pain is not consistent. On some days, it is manageable. But on other days, especially after I eat a large meal with a sugary dessert, the pain feels much worse, much hotter." He was noticing correctly that his joint pain was directly connected to his blood sugar levels. We had him start a very simple daily habit. Every morning, he would stir 1 teaspoon of a specific kind of cinnamon into his morning tea and drink it with his breakfast. After about a month of this consistent practice, he told me that his overall level of daily pain was much lower and much more stable. By helping to balance his blood sugar throughout the day, the cinnamon was helping to calm the fire of inflammation in his knees.
That is a brilliant story, and it highlights a connection that most people with arthritis completely miss. Let's talk about the 2 powerful ways that cinnamon works to achieve this. First, the main active compound in cinnamon, which is called cinnamaldehyde, has its own direct anti-inflammatory properties. It helps to calm some of the inflammatory signals in the body. But the main benefit for joint pain, as your patient discovered, is cinnamon's profound and well-researched effect on blood sugar and insulin sensitivity. When your blood sugar spikes up and crashes down all day long, it creates a huge amount of systemic low-grade inflammation. This inflammation makes the pain, the swelling, and the stiffness of arthritis much, much worse. Cinnamon is one of the most effective natural compounds for helping to improve your body's insulin sensitivity and for blunting those damaging blood sugar spikes after a meal. By creating a stable blood sugar environment, you are taking the fuel away from the fire of your joint pain. Now, doctor, this next point is critical for the safety and effectiveness of this protocol. The source material for our video today makes a very big distinction between the two main types of cinnamon that are sold in America. Can you please explain the difference between Ceylon cinnamon and cassia cinnamon and why it is so important?
This is the most important part of our conversation about cinnamon, and I am glad you have asked. Most of the common inexpensive cinnamon that you find in the spice aisle of the supermarket is cassia cinnamon. It has a strong, spicy flavor, and it is perfectly fine to use in small amounts for baking a pie now and then. However, cassia cinnamon contains a relatively high level of a natural compound called coumarin. If you eat this compound in large amounts every single day, it can be stressful for your liver. Over the long term, for a daily health habit like the one we are recommending, you must choose Ceylon cinnamon. It is often called true cinnamon. It has a much milder, sweeter, and more complex flavor, and most importantly, it contains almost no coumarin, which makes it very safe for daily use.
So for this protocol, it is essential to seek out Ceylon cinnamon, which our viewers can usually find online at a health food store or in the organic section of many larger grocery stores. And what is a good daily amount to aim for, doctor?
About half a teaspoon to 1 full teaspoon per day of the ground Ceylon cinnamon is a perfect and very effective dose for most people to get these benefits. You can stir it into your morning tea or coffee, as my patient did. You can also sprinkle it on your oatmeal, on some yogurt, or even add it to savory dishes like stews or roasted vegetables.
It is a true blessing to have not just these wonderful natural remedies, but also the scientific wisdom to know how to choose the right kind and how to use it safely and effectively for our health. So cinnamon is our systemic soother, helping to balance our blood sugar and reduce that body-wide low-grade inflammation that makes joint pain worse. Doctor, what is the second level of your spice protocol? You call this one the direct protector.
Yes, our next spice is a direct protector. It acts like a bodyguard for the very cells in your joints. It is the small but incredibly powerful clove. This spice is wonderful for the person who feels not just pain in one specific spot, but a general feeling of being run down, achy all over, and that their body is losing its vitality. I had a patient, a woman in her late 60s, who told me she felt her body was under constant attack. Her arthritis would flare up frequently, and she had a deep sense of fatigue and vulnerability that went with it. We had her start a very simple and comforting habit. Every evening she would make a warm, soothing tea with a few whole cloves. After a few months of this consistent daily ritual, she came back to my office and told me that the frequency of her painful flare-ups had noticeably reduced. But more than that, she said she felt a greater sense of overall vitality. She felt her body was stronger and better able to defend itself from the daily stresses. The powerful compounds in the cloves were helping to shield her cells from the daily damage.
A bodyguard for the cells. That is a perfect description, doctor. And the modern science shows that cloves do this in two very powerful ways. First, the main active compound in cloves is a substance called eugenol. Eugenol is a very potent, natural anti-inflammatory. It has been shown in scientific studies to help inhibit the COX-2 inflammatory pathway. This is the very same pathway that many common prescription anti-inflammatory drugs are designed to target. So the eugenol in cloves is providing a direct natural pain, relieving an anti-inflammatory effect on the joints.
But the second reason is perhaps even more profound.
It is. The second reason is that cloves are one of the most powerful antioxidants on the entire planet. There is a scientific scale called the ORAC scale, which is used to measure the antioxidant capacity of a food. To give our viewers at home some perspective, a very healthy food that we all know, like fresh blueberries, has an ORAC score of about 9,000. Ground cloves have a score of over 290,000. That is not a mistake. They are more than 30 times more powerful as an antioxidant than blueberries. So if your joints are being damaged by the daily sparks of free radicals, the antioxidants in cloves are like a powerful internal fire extinguisher, protecting your delicate cartilage and other joint tissues from that constant wear and tear. Now, doctor, what is the best way for our viewers to use this incredible spice? Should they use the whole cloves or the ground powder?
Both are very good, and they can be used in different ways. As my patient did, you can make a simple soothing tea by gently simmering just 4 or 5 whole cloves in a cup of hot water for about 10 to 15 minutes. This is a very gentle and pleasant way to get the benefits. For ground cloves, the flavor is much stronger, so you only need a tiny pinch. A small pinch can be added to your morning oatmeal into a smoothie or to savory dishes, like a lentil soup or curry. With ground cloves, a little goes a very long way.
And what about clove essential oil? I know that is very potent and popular in America for things like toothaches.
Yes, and you must be very, very careful with clove essential oil. It is extremely concentrated, and it should not be taken internally unless you are under the guidance of a trained professional. For our purposes today, it is much safer and just as effective to use the gentle whole spice in your food and in your tea.
It is amazing to think that God has packed so much profound protective power into such a tiny, humble package as a single, simple clove. This is so fascinating, Doctor. The sheer power of these simple spices is incredible. We are so grateful to share this with our amazing community. To help us see our global community, please let us know what city, state, or country you are watching from. We love hearing from you. So we have cinnamon as our systemic soother to help balance the body and cloves as our direct protector to act as a bodyguard for our cells. Doctor, what is the third and final level of your spice protocol? You call this one the Master Amplifier.
Yes, our final spice is one that almost everyone in America has in their kitchen, but almost no one understands its true medicinal power. It is black pepper. Now, I must be clear. Black pepper is not a powerful anti-inflammatory on its own like the others. Its great secret power is that it is a master amplifier. It makes all of the other good and healthy foods and spices that you eat much, much more powerful. This is often the missing link for so many people who are trying to heal themselves with food. I had a patient, a very well-educated man in his late 60s. He was already eating a wonderful, healthy, anti-inflammatory diet. He was eating turmeric every single day for his joint pain. But he came to me feeling very frustrated because he was still having a lot of pain and not seeing the results he had hoped for. I asked him one very simple question: how do you use your black pepper? He told me that he used the common pre-ground black pepper that comes in a shaker, and he would just use a tiny little bit. I asked him to make one simple change. I had him buy a simple pepper grinder and to use freshly ground black pepper generously on his meals, especially on the meals that contain turmeric. After about a month, he came back to my office and he told me it was like a switch had been flipped inside his body. He could finally feel a much greater and more noticeable reduction in his daily pain. The black pepper was the key that finally unlocked the benefits of the healthy diet he was already eating.
That is a perfect story to illustrate this incredible and very important science. The main active compound in black pepper is called piperine, and piperine is what scientists call a bioenhancer. This is a very important concept for our viewers to understand. Many of the most powerful healing compounds in nature, like the curcumin we know as in turmeric, are actually very difficult for our bodies to absorb. The piperine in black pepper works in our digestive system to temporarily slow down the liver's process of breaking down and eliminating these compounds. This gives our body a much, much larger window of time to be able to absorb them into the bloodstream. As you said in the source material for this video, the research is stunning. It shows that adding a small amount of black pepper can increase your body's absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. It is the difference between the medicine simply passing through your body and the medicine actually getting into your body where it can do its work.
It unlocks the door.
It unlocks the door. That is the perfect way to say it. So, doctor, this brings us to the final, very exciting question. How can we combine all three of these powerful spices, cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper, to get the most powerful synergistic effect?
This is a wonderful thing to do as they work beautifully together as a team. For a simple and very powerful healing tea, you can create your own wonderful blend at home. You can take 1 cinnamon stick, a few whole cloves, and a few whole black peppercorns, and simmer them all together gently in hot water for about 10 to 15 minutes. This creates a very warming, very aromatic, and very powerful anti-inflammatory tea. And in your daily cooking, they are a perfect team, especially in savory dishes. When you are making a healthy curry, a lentil soup, or a meat stew, you can use all three of these spices together. The cinnamon provides a lovely, sweet, warming base. The cloves provide a deep, aromatic, and medicinal flavor. And the freshly ground black pepper, of course, amplifies the power of not only the other spices, but all of the other wonderful healthy ingredients in your dish. They are a perfect and delicious team.
That is a beautiful combination. A true kitchen pharmacy in one single bowl. It's a wonderful example of how these blessed gifts from nature are so perfectly designed to work in harmony with each other to support our health and our well-being. Doctor, this has been an incredible tour of the kitchen pharmacy. You have given our viewers a complete 3-level spice protocol for fighting back against arthritis. We have cinnamon as the systemic soother to help balance the body. We have cloves as the direct protector to act as a bodyguard for our cells. And we have black pepper as the master amplifier to unlock the power of our food. This is a powerful natural toolkit for managing chronic joint pain. What is so empowering about this approach is that these simple spices offer a way to fight back against arthritis that works in harmony with the body, not against it. This is such a hopeful message for people who thought that pills with harsh side effects were their only option for their daily joint pain. This is a practical, patient, and delicious approach to managing arthritis and reclaiming a more comfortable and active life.
I want to leave you with this one final thought. Healing does not need to be complicated or expensive. Sometimes the greatest power is found in the smallest and most humble things, like a simple sprinkle of a spice on your food. Be consistent with these small habits, and your body will thank you.
That is the perfect message to end with, Doctor. The greatest power is found in the humblest things. It's a wonderful reminder to be good stewards of our health using the simple, blessed gifts that are already in our kitchens with both wisdom and with care. And of course, the wisest first step is always to speak with your personal doctor or a registered dietitian before making any significant changes to your diet or adding new therapeutic doses of spices, especially if you are taking any medications like blood thinners. Please remember that our conversation today is for educational purposes. If you found this guide empowering and helpful, please give this video a like so that others can find this vital information. And be sure to share it with a friend or a family member who might be looking for a gentler, more natural approach to their joint pain. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It is completely free and it ensures you will not miss our next deep dive into your health and well-being. And for our community discussion today, we would love to know, which of these 3 healing spices will you start adding to your meals this week? Please share your choice in the comments below. Your story can be an inspiration to others. Thank you for being with us. Be well.